This is video number 81, and the title is Turkeys. Years ago, we were trying to get a healthy turkey population established in various parts of the county. We stocked mainly west of the Susquehanna River. We placed 5 to 10 birds in similar spots for a few years in a row. For those familiar with Wyoming County, those places have names like Dutch Mountain, South Mountain, Douglas Hollow, Bar Hollow, Root Hollow, Miller Mountain, Briar Ridge, Kaiserville, Harding's Flats, Iceman's Farm, and the coal mine, to name most of them. For the first few years, the winters were fairly mild. Then we got nailed. Snow in Windy Valley was waist deep or more. The areas I'll discuss here are South Mountain and Dutch Mountain, both of which are accessible from Windy Valley Road. The second area will be what was the Adams Farm, located in the valley on the far side of South Mountain. That valley or hollow has a name, but it escapes me at this time. I'll discuss feeding on Dutch and South Mountain first. Our salaried officer and boss, Al Krajewski, had a Game Commission snowmobile, and another deputy, Jerry Warner, had his snowmobile. Lou and I were the bag filling crew. The road crew only plowed the snow to just past the last year-round residents. Now that Lou and I are old guys, neither one of us can remember the name of the old guy who lived in the little cabin. But we both know that it was the guy who walked around with his cat on his shoulder. It was something else. We set up our little feeding operation in front at his cabin. He let Lou and I come in and get warm in between bag filling and loadings. Lou and I filled a couple of 100-pound sized burlap bags of corn, and we strapped them onto the snowmobiles. Jerry and Al went up Dutch Mountain Road and out to the feeders from there. We would go back inside and visit with this old fella. Jerry and Al visited while we filled the bags. The old fellow was pretty self-sufficient. He had a good store of canned goods. Mahoopany Creek was out the back door if the need for water became desperate. The memorable part of this experience was his homemade wine. Each time we went inside, he would ask if we wanted a glass of wine. We declined a number of times because we were actually on duty. After petting the cat a number of times and turning down the wine, he finally wore us down. What would a small glass of blackberry wine hurt? So Lou and I agreed to taste some. The old fellow pulled a curtain back on his shelves. He took 2 shot glasses off the shelf and blew the dust off. Next, he took a piece of paper bag and wiped out the glasses. Lou and I both looked sideways at each other, but we made the commitment. He opened the bottle and poured some of the contents into a glass. It plopped into the glass. It didn't flow. I don't know what Lou was thinking, but I got really skeptical all at once. It was blackberry, I think, but it's more like a heavy syrup than wine. You could crunch the sugar in it. We declined a refill. The second experience was at the Adams Farm. This time it was just Al and myself. There was so much snow we could not drive off 87. We parked on Route 87 and rode the snowmobile into the farm. This time there was a warning of the storm and the corn was placed inside the barn. I was the bag crew this time. I loaded the bags and Al took them up to the feeder. Mr. Adams had a black and white collie cow dog. I had one when I was small. We were there most of the day, and that dog barked at me the whole time. I tried to be friends and pet him, but no luck. That dog, of course, was loose, but I could not get close to him. When we got done and started the ride back out to the truck, Al told me when he was there making preparations with Mr. Adams, the dog was barking at him too. Al said he asked, "Does that dog bite?" Mr. Adams said, "Yeah." Now he tells me. He knew I had some bad experience with dogs. I've been backed into my truck a few times. Look for a ridge with a mix of hardwood and hemlocks. That's food. acorns, and good cover for the turkeys. I'm going to add one more experience. It was the first time I went with Al to stalk turkeys. He told me that when the box was open and the turkeys started to escape, do not look up. We decided to put some turkeys out in Sugar Hollow. About halfway out the road on a sharp curve, there was a pull-off. We parked there close to the guardrail. The bank was more like a cliff. It was almost straight down. We opened the crate and the turkeys started coming out. That's when I found out why you don't look up. That is also when Al taught me that every time a bird takes flight, it also takes a dump. If you park under a wire where birds perch, you'll now know why there are always bird deposits on your car. The same goes for turkeys. The gob that comes out of a turkey can knock your hat off. That bird just hooked one on the bill of my hat. Yuck. All the turkeys jumped off the crate and flew except one. It jumped down and immediately went into a forward roll. It looked like an old tire with a flap of tread flopping over the top with each revolution. It was really funny. All you could see was its head flopping each time. And that concludes my little story about experiences with turkeys. All the best, folks.